1. Okay, now we clap for the audio sync. All right. Hey, Bream.
Hello, Assad.
Hey, guys. This is our podcast. My name is Assad.
My name is Ibrahim.
And we just decided to make a podcast. We thought it'd be fun in the middle of the pandemic. Nothing to do. So let's just go through a few things first. We are and introduce yourselves. Who are we, Ibrahim?
So we call ourselves Two Bros and a Beard because A, we are both bros. B, I have a beard.
And I try to keep a beard.
Assad's almost bearding. We'll deal with that later.
I was telling Ibrahim that we have some technicalities in the name, just in case anybody wants to post up and be like, "Oh, you don't have a beard. The podcast doesn't make sense." I can just say, "Well, I do now, and I don't usually, so it could be either or." I'm kind of like Schrodinger's cat.
Short ears cat?
Schrodinger's cat.
That's a word?
Yeah. The cat that's alive and dead.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's a physics thing.
Anyway.
We will go into a little bit more about the name later, but we are a group of friends who just like to chill and talk about stuff just in general. This podcast is supposed to be pretty laid back. No high expectations on anything, no real format, kind of just an idea.
It's pretty much just the idea of coming and talking as us two. Sometimes we'll have some guests, sometimes we just be us two. And we just come and talk about life, talk about things going on in the world, just because we realize that we talk a lot, and so might as well put that talking into use, you know?
It's actually a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, never forget it out.
We have some stuff that we wanted to talk about, and we were like going off on ideas, but then we thought, hey, maybe for episode 1, why don't we just like talk about how we came up with the idea for our podcast? It is kind of entertaining, and just things like that. So
everyone nowadays is making a podcast, so like, why not?
Yeah, we can hop on it. When we were brainstorming names, one of the initial names that we came up with, we thought it was so cool. It was like brackets untitled.proj bracket. And it turns out there's like 40 bajillion.
There's too many untitled, like it's literally called untitled podcasts on Spotify, and it was absolutely crazy because we were like, oh, we're original. We're gonna call ourselves.
We thought it was
we're gonna
so
call
special.
ourselves untitled project, and then next thing you know, there's at least 40 that have the same name. We're like, oh,
and they're all about different things too. They're not just about like life. One of them was about the government, and one of them was about computer programming, and then one of them was just like the daily life stuff, like lemonade stands and things like that.
So we're like, that's not gonna work. Weird.
And we were like bouncing the ideas off of our friends, and ultimately kind of segues into our real story. So me and Ibrahim, one day we were just hanging out with some of our friends at La Madeleine, and
La Madeleine, please give us a sponsor.
yeah, please, we need money. And we were just talking, and after our friends had left, and after a lot of time had passed, me and Ibrahim kind of looked at the clock, and we were like, wait a second, it's been 3 to 4 hours of us just straight up just talking about nonsense.
We talked about pretty much anything and everything, and somehow 4 hours we were the only ones in La Madeleine for the whole day.
We talked about
pretty sure the waiter thought we were weird and why are these kids still
stories
here?
And
because our friends left 4 hours before we left, and so I'm pretty sure everyone just looked at us funny when we finally decided to get up and leave.
And in the middle of a pandemic, you no one was in the restaurant, so all of the workers were just watching us talk in the corner of the restaurant the entire time.
I'm pretty sure they're just like, oh, they're still here. Next hour, oh, they're still here. Next hour, oh, they're still here.
Yeah,
next hour, can they please leave?
They couldn't slack off with us around. They had to actually they were doing a job. But so we talked about a bunch of random stuff. We talked about planes and cars and auto problems. And we talked about relationships and our friends and tea. We talked about the bathroom after I went to the bathroom. We talked about OnlyFans for a little while, and a bunch of other stuff just came up. And after all that time, we realized we were we enjoyed it so thoroughly, just talking and just going off. And that's kind of a similar catharsis that other people have just in friend groups, just talking in circles and forgetting about the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where me and Assad just meet up randomly with friends, without friends, whatever the case is, and we'll just sit and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then next thing you know, we're sitting there for 4 hours talking about the randomest things on Earth. And actually today, right before we came to record this, we were out with friends and we sat there and talked about the randomest things on Earth for a little while.
Yes.
And it picked up, and we realized this I could actually work into a good podcast where we just talk about life, talk about trends, talk about how Assad doesn't like TikTok and I kind of am into it.
I hate TikTok.
We could talk about politics and things like that, even though we're not very political, but it's kind of just like a laid back talk where we talk about things that we think are interesting, we think are boring. We pretty much like two guys just talking about life.
And the way me and Ibrahim like thought of it, we thought it was like, I guess, brilliant. We would just pick a topic to start with and then just go.
Then vent.
Just see where the like we were talking about TSA at that La Madeleine, and then ultimately it got all the way down to our personal lives, and it got like you wouldn't have been able to trace back where TSA and airport security had anything to do with what we were talking about. But it was kind of like a good
by the
vibe.
end of this episode, or any of the episodes, you'll probably end up somewhere on the other side of the world, just like you don't know how you got
Which
there.
is actually good for us, because if people skip through the video, they'll get so lost.
They'll be lost, but they'll also be like, "Oh, a whole new conversation. We'll just listen to that part."
So either they dive into a new bit, or they get confused and they have to watch the beginning,
which is good and bad. But we're gonna look at the positive.
We'll look at the positives. So we just talk about non-serious things, serious things, how our days went, just whatever we're really vibing with. The whole goal of the podcast, I guess, is to make the listener, you guys, feel like y'all are like sitting in the room with us and just chatting about nonsense, and kind of just to give people like a break away from just like normal monotony and sitting with your own thoughts, right?
Like if you're driving to work one day and you're just like, I have an hour to waste. You're sitting in your car alone, just chilling. Music's not vibing with you. Nothing's really working with you, but you don't want to sit in silence because then you think you're a weirdo. You turn on the podcast and it's like you're having two other people in your car just kind of talking your ear off.
Right.
And you think about things throughout that drive. Even if you zone out at one point because of something we said and you start thinking about that, that's fine.
Or if the homies aren't hopping on Discord and you have homework to do that night and you don't have any music to listen to, you can just put us on in the background and then just pretend that you're with us, just chatting about life.
Or if you're depressed and you don't want to cry because crying is for little girls, that's fine. Just play us and we'll talk your ear off, and then you'll laugh at one point, hopefully, if not.
Me and Ibrahim actually, just in our personal lives, do an extraordinary job of counseling other people and making them forget that they're sad.
I should start charging people for how much I counsel them. It's crazy.
That's how we make our way through college.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're on college right now. It's our freshman year of college.
It's our freshman year of COVID college, COVID university.
Semester 1.
It's not going well, or at least for me personally, but
we'll talk about that in a bit.
We can talk about that in another
We'll
episode.
explain ourselves after we just talk about the podcast a little bit.
So we're trying to aim for like an episode a week, maybe. I don't know. Being in college kind of makes things funky, getting jobs and things like that. But
jobs.
That's the working.
Working? Who works? Imagine working.
Your own money? What? Yeah. But that's something that we're trying to reach for, and why we made it, like we said earlier, we had that moment in La Madeleine and it was really, really fun. And then even after we left La Madeleine, we talked to each other into the parking lot, and we did that thing that certain like uncles and aunts do at like family gatherings where you just continually talk to the door and no one really says goodbye. And me and
you say goodbye around 6 times, but like
exactly.
none of those actually count.
Like people go back and then they're like, oh wait, I forgot my coffee, and then they're like, oh wait, but
let me get my keys,
put on
my shoes.
Oh, I wanted to say hi to your nephew or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, let me stop and do this, stop and do that.
And
by the time you get to the front door, you probably already stopped 6 times. By the time you get into the car, you stop another 2 times.
You got to plan an hour ahead when you're trying to leave so that you can like air out all of those.
Like I'm trying to leave at 4, so you got to get up and start at 3:15
right,
max.
And we were just talking from our car windows, like getting super excited about ideas and what to talk about, what we could talk about.
I was putting music in my car, and I was like, wait, we can have an episode about music. And I rolled down my window. I'm like, Assad, music.
And then even on the drive home, me and Ibrahim were texting each other, not while driving.
Text and drive, kids.
Not while driving, obviously, because that's
dangerous,
dumb.
No,
right? Totally,
don't do that.
But we were just texting each other back and forth. Oh, I got this idea. Oh, I have this idea.
And Assad went to sleep thinking about the podcast.
And yeah, there were like nights where like I just couldn't sleep because I was thinking about it so much. But I think ultimately it did come down to like impacting people's lives and helping.
Yeah,
other
because I
people.
know a lot of friends that we have pretty much the same friend group. A lot of people who listen to us talk, they'll be part of the conversation, obviously, but like they'll sit there and just listen to us talk and they'll have a good conversation with us. And they'll actually like enjoy it. They'll listen, they'll either learn something new or they'll just laugh or they'll feel like we're idiots, but they'll enjoy it. The people will just enjoy hearing us talk. And, you know, that sounds weird and cocky a little bit, but
yeah, I was about to say, but at the same time, you got it.
But
you know,
I feel like talking sometimes just helps people, so that's why I stand by it.
It gives them like a little bit of time to like forget.
Yeah,
you know, like to not really be bogged down with anything. Like I know for a fact, every time we hang out, no matter what, as long as we all vibe, I can forget about all the stress, all the homework that I have to do, all the nonsense in my life, and I kind of just enjoying time with the boys and just chilling.
It's a little time to just clear your head and just listen to random things. Think about it's pretty much instead of like whenever you go to the bathroom, you don't really think about anything. That's pretty much it. Like bathroom thoughts or shower thoughts or stuff like that. It's just kind of like a chill,
but like not in the shower.
And then every once in a while we'll bring on a friend or a guest or someone, and we'll pretty much have them sit and talk to us and see how weird we are. Like we had when we were meeting at La Madeleine, we met with two of our friends and a counselor. And the counselor we went to school with was like, yeah, crazy, but nice. Mm-hmm. And she actually loved the idea of a podcast. So
everybody we've talked to about it, bro. Everybody's been booming about it.
And so a lot of people are like, hey, can I actually come on and be part of your podcast?
Yeah, which was really sweet. I really like that.
I think people are willing to talk and like have things to talk about, but they just don't have like the ability or they don't have the opportunity to talk about things. So,
and I think partially it's because when you're in a setting where you feel like you have something to talk about or you need to say certain things, other things just don't come out. But when you're just hanging out with your friends, when you're just having fun, you jump from what came first, the chicken or the egg, to you talk about politics, and then you talk about how things are going on at home, and then you talk about that one TikTok you saw, and then you talk about that one person you saw, like it just bounces around.
And sometimes your ideas just don't get thrown out there because when there's 9 people trying to speak and your funny story that you're trying to say, no one actually hears it. Well, then you get bugged out.
And when Brown is sus,
listen, Brown's always sus.
Brown's always sus. But so we just wanted to emulate the experience of a normal conversation and have people be able to sit in with us on it. And hopefully, in the future, if things go right, then it's not just us anymore. It'll be other people literally who are with us, but also it'll be you guys on the other end who are be able to be able to help us.
So we had this little script that we were going to kind of bounce some ideas off of. And I realized right now, looking at the script, I told Assad to write young adults. He somehow managed to write 2 tongue adults. And I understand I have a tongue, but I don't want to be classified as a tongue adult.
I think it accidentally just combined both of those
too
words.
Young, too tongue.
Went tongue.
We're tongue adults now. Change the whole name. Change everything. We're tongue adults.
Everything. And me and Ibrahim were talking about it, and we were like, honestly, it's just 2 people with a wild imagination just talking.
Yeah.
And
people would judge us if they heard what we talked about. They'd probably put us in a mental asylum.
Yeah. See, the thing
study us.
I'm afraid of that, but at the same time,
maybe they'd pay us for how crazy we are.
You know that you guys are getting paid.
You guys are getting paid out of this for free.
If we could actually go through something like that, bro, and we got paid for it to college, easy. Dude.
We're your last 2 brain cells after a long math test, and you just want to go home and cry. Cells. We're your last 2 brain cells. That's us. We've been described as that many times.
So the school we went to had a lot of weird terminology for things, and I came to love it. And one of the things that we were thinking of were norms.
Oh no!
So the norms of the podcast are we're gonna try to get not political. We're trying to keep it we'll obviously goof on everything. Me and Ibrahim were pretty politically neutral. So and this is not a place for anything like that. We're not gonna be able to.
I honestly think Santa Claus from Florida should be president.
Dude,
honestly, he runs every year.
Kanye 2020
and
was
he
the
doesn't
dream.
win.
We're trying not to get too religious either. Me and Ibrahim, we are both Muslim, and Ibrahim. Or I'm from India and Pakistan.
I'm half Syrian, half Egyptian.
So
we're from the Middle Eastern brown side of the world, but we've grown up here. So if we're whitewashed.
If anything, we talk about obviously our personal experiences are going to leak into our perception of the world, but we don't want to alienate others, so we're not going to make it too much about religion. Obviously, if we want,
we'll bring it up a few times, but not like fully.
We're not going to scrutinize any religions.
Yeah, no.
We're just going to talk about the concepts. We don't want to get too explicit either. Now, me and Ibrahim being in college, being young adults, we can very easily go off the rails.
We can.
In fact, in planning the podcast, we had to bounce ideas off of each other about where the boundary was because we didn't really know like what was too far.
I asked him. Okay, we were going to pick up something for the podcast right before we started today, and I had to ask him like 3 questions about explicit things. What can I say? What can I say?
And honestly, like...
Because I'm the one... I'll put my hand out first. I'm the one who makes the perverted jokes.
No, but I also make those really bad jokes.
But like...
me and you are those guys in the group chat who will slide in that's what she said.
But like...
Remember
I'm a lot worse.
Remember sophomore year when I would alley-oop and you'd alley-oop me and we'd just be like, Ibrahim,
listen,
get him. And you hit
have
him
you
with
ever been in trouble for making that's what she said joke to someone who died?
Okay.
I made a joke to our good friend... And I'll tell you her name later. And she was telling me about, someone who died and stuff like that. And I'm a horrible person. So I said that's what she said joke. And she was like, excuse me. We're talking about my grandmother here. And I'm like, oh, right. Sorry about that. My bad.
In a kind of twisted way, though, I think it did help her, though.
No. She got mad at me that day.
But they both are like, just those girls.
Grandma's dead and she got mad at me. I don't know
how I won. Of dark comedy. Like or maybe it was just like, another thing. But...
Possibly. Anyway.
Tangent.
Tangent.
There will be a bunch.
There's going to be a lot of tangents.
There will be a lot of. And finally, our last norm was no promises because we don't know what's going to happen.
Get too explicit.
But obviously, we want to make this listenable to as many people as possible. And
we want everyone to enjoy and just hear and listen and relax and not feel like anything is wrong.
And like, we'll like what's the word? We'll let you know if a dark or heavy topic is going to be talked about in the episode. It's not like we're not going to do that, but for the most part, we both agreed we want to shelter like a very happy, fun, lighthearted environment for people. Because like, dude, I'd hate it if you were in your car going to work and then you put on the podcast to like get some relief, and then all of a sudden you hear, oh, so this guy he freaking died.
And then you get sad and you have to go spend the next 8 hours at work just being depressed.
Yeah, and you can't get any relief from us, which is the ultimate goal.
Which isn't the ultimate goal. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, well...
English is not our strong suit.
Hey, but that's kind of fun when you mess up.
When you try to say words but they don't come out correctly, yeah.
It's like it makes character.
Yeah, when you sit there for 6 minutes trying to figure out what that one word is, and what was that one meme? Your boyfriend... didn't leave you on red. He's trying to figure out how to spell beautiful.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's totally what happened there.
That's usually what happens.
But
yeah, that's pretty much like the idea behind our podcast. Honestly, we can talk about how we came up with this podcast and why we came up with this podcast.
Yeah.
And we were gonna just pretty much, this episode is just talking about why and how and who we are. And obviously we're gonna talk about the history of all of us and how we came up with this podcast. So Assad, 2 bros and a beard.
Oh, bro. Hell of a good starting point.
Why did we come up with 2 bros and a beard?
So, that day at La Madeleine when we were sitting there, we went crazy. We came up with a lot of idea names. I actually have them pulled up.
By the way, this is 2 hours into the conversation after everyone left. We decided to make a podcast.
And then that ended up becoming the next half of the conversation.
Yeah, that was that.
So, we came up with 2 bros and a beard initially because Ibrahim is infamous for keeping a beard. I struggle with keeping a beard. I have a
full beard. I am proud of it. Mother, I know you told me to shave, but no.
And
she's gonna
that was it was a really easy way to denote who we were, right? Because it's Ibrahim has a beard. I don't have a beard.
Yeah, in high school, everyone's like, when Miss Wiley would be like, "Hey, go talk to this person." Oh, who's that? Ibrahim? Oh, the man with the beard.
That guy with the beard.
Senior with the beard.
That guy with the beard. Like if you walk into a mosque, he'd be the first one you see.
I was branded as the man with the beard, like that guy.
So
I won best beard in senior class. I was the only one with a beard. Obviously,
very true. Hey, but that's still a win. Don't take that away from yourself. So we came up with 2 bros and a beard, and initially we thought it was a really good idea, but we jumped off of it. We decided against it. And we came up with a lot of other stuff. It was a process. We landed at SandFam
Sand fam, because we're both brown and
Because we're
Middle
both
Eastern.
brown and Middle Eastern.
You know,
Honestly, if that wasn't at racially charged, probably
there was a lot of racially charged like names we came up with. I'll tell you one later.
It's part of like your self-identity, so like obviously that's gonna be where you go.
We have one that we didn't write down, but I remember it. I'll tell you about it after.
Yeah, there's a lot of BS with a lot of with a lot of our names. And then we went with the train of thought. It
was a little wordy to me.
It was also very wordy to me. I'm really glad.
Podcast.
It sounds like a mystery novel podcast. Like someone you'd listen to and like they narrate to you their whole freaking life story.
The Murder of the Express or
something like that. Murder on the Orient Express, something like that.
Yeah, no, we're not a
mystery movie. So then me and everyone were like, man, you know the amount of things we talk about and then we just end up talking about something else. Like, why don't we call it Tangent City? And I mean, I vibe with that a little bit.
I was with it for a little bit, but I'm like, I'm not a white girl who I feel like that's very whitish vibes.
It sounds
like LA just came out of my
it sounds a little special
coffee drink. Nah, I'm not about that.
So then we didn't
shout out to all my white girls.
So another one we came up with was I'd like to thank the Academy, for unexplainable reasons. Right now, we both decided that this would probably not be the best idea. But
by the way, real quick, by the way, just a clarification: the Academy is the high school we went to. It's called the Academy, pretty much, the Plano ISD Academy. Mm-hmm. It's a 4-year school. It's STEAM based, whichever one you want to call it. It was interesting. That's what we'll call it. It was interesting. And we're pretty much we're going to talk about the Academy for the rest of this podcast.
A lot of our past experiences and growth and things like that in high school did stem
and so we'll bring up the Academy a few times. By a few, I mean a lot. And so just in case you ever get confused, the Academy is our high school. So,
yeah.
And I didn't want our one podcast that we might do in life to be named after a high school.
A high school, yeah. That
was like, no,
be a bad
not
legacy.
a good move.
So then finally, in the infinitesimally small brains that we had at the moment.
Remember, we're your last 2 brain cells.
We decided, that's what we said.
That's what she said, name. But a spinoff because that's what we said.
And honestly, it sounds good. Talking said podcast, it works. It's not really dirty up front, but it's almost like a really sour dad joke. And I did not want people to be reminded of that. So then that's when we fell upon the untitled name, and we jumped off of that pretty quick after we Googled it on Spotify.
And then we came up with the... we were joking around with BS Media, and then we joked around for Bomb Squad.
We thought we were gonna take a stereotype, but then spin it around
and make it positive
and make it
podcasty. But then
that didn't work.
Yeah, no, I don't know how a podcast called Bomb Squad would really work.
And our friend group in high school, we called ourselves the Brown Squad. So even though not all of us are the Gradation Squad, a lot of us weren't brown. It kind of started like that, but like not
originally it was brown, like a bunch of brown people, Arabs and like Indians and Pakistanis and stuff like that, and then it became we had some Hispanic people, we had some white people, we had some Irish people.
Yeah,
we called ourselves Gradation Squad because from the darkest to the whitest,
we're all there.
We were all there,
and we after our friend group had expanded, right? It was almost like a vibe for everyone. It just didn't seem like the best option.
So
but Brown Squad, Bomb Squad, and then BS, which you know what that means. It just all lined up. We were like BS. It's such a good acronym, but no,
that's a load of BS.
It is a load of BS. You're right. HE double hockey sticks and all.
Yeah.
So, we just kind of like we're talking with our friends at the podcast. That was wrong. We were talking about the podcast with our friends. There you go. Remember what we were talking about with English? And
Miss Davis would be proud.
We just told them our idea, the first one we had, and they were like, "Oh my god!"
It was kind of like that weird moment where like you forget something, but then I don't know, you remember it, and you're like, "Wait, that actually might work." Because I remember sitting there. We were sitting at the park, and we were going through everything. We went through Brown Squad. We were like, "Yeah, no, Brown Squad wouldn't work," blah blah blah. And I think I saw something said something about 2 bros and a beard, and it was like a light clicked in my head. I'm like, "Wait, that actually." Why did we forget about that?
It sounded different, even though we'd said it 100 times.
It's like someone like opened a new door, and you're like, "Wait, really? Mm-hmm. Why did we not think about this?"
When we bounced it off of our friends was like astonished. They were like, "Oh my god, that sounds amazing!"
That's genius.
And we decided to run with it because it's pretty good. So that's where the name came from.
2 bros and a beard.
We had been planning this podcast upwards of a month, I think. Just like back and forth, like
possibly.
talking about it, bouncing off ideas, getting ready.
No, more. Since before we started college.
It's July, right?
Yeah.
No.
Because
The Madeline was the first few
went
days
in the
of
Madeline
school.
because that was right after, first few days out of the way. So towards the beginning of college. We've been in college for 8 weeks.
Oh gosh. Okay, so like upwards of 2
2
months.
months.
Then. 2 months of planning.
Wait, 2 months?
And it is really good to actually be doing it now.
Yeah, no, we had this thing. We have a friend. Shout out to our boy Tristan. We told him we wanted to make a podcast, and he was like, okay. We asked him a bunch of questions. He's our electrical man. He's our mic man. Kind of, not really. He's not even here.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in
here
spirit.
through the XLR.
Yeah, the mic that we're currently using to record is his, so he's here through spirit. But he asked us today, after we asked for his mic, he was like, so do you guys have an SD card? Do you guys have this? Do you guys have this? And we realized, we don't have any of this stuff. And he goes, wow, and you guys really want to make a podcast? We're like, hey, listen, we're going with the flow. We're figuring it out as we go.
Listen, Linda.
And
one step at a time.
We're kind of here just to we'll figure it out as we go,
Yeah.
There's no problem in that.
It was strange how much I thought about it and how much I still hadn't considered.
I feel like you thought about it a lot more than I thought about it.
I thought about it a lot more, and this is something we can get into later, but like, because, me and all of our friends, we wanted to start channels. And my channel specifically had been on my mind for a very long time. And this was always the next level of getting the message out there and just, starting. And I was just so enamored with the idea. I made like planning documents, and because I love planning. And it was like, I was afraid of acting on it. So because it would be another dumb idea I just never went through with. So I just had the Google documents sitting there. But at the same time, in my mind, my expectations and everything were so high. I was so excited that I had to do it. I had to start. And it kind of just pushed me. Because like I was saying earlier, I would sleep. And I wouldn't be able to fall asleep because my brain would be so active thinking about like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? A large deterrent in that way for both of us is money.
Money is a big thing.
Everyone said that this would be expensive. No one ever gave us hope about it. So I'm not like being mad at anything.
Today,
but man,
just today to buy a little SD card to put our stuff on was like $8. Now let's see how many SD cards we're gonna need for this whole thing.
And to buy a microphone to use ourselves so we don't have to mooch off our friend, it was $99 for like a normal mic. And I was like, man, maybe these numbers when they scale a little different. Maybe if we were older or had full-time jobs, it'd be different. But being broke in college,
it's not the move.
It slaps different, dude. Yeah. When you see the $99 price tag,
you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do a podcast.
And dude, these guys were so brave too. It wasn't 99 cents at the end. It was 99.00, bro. Because you're gonna pay that extra dollar somehow.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And we were just like scrambling last minute, like trying to figure things out. This is something that I
guess making illegal U-turns.
No, you should. Yeah. And this is something that I guess I've kind of noticed about myself. Something else to know is our school was very about public speaking. So there were a lot of opportunities I had to publicly speak. And in middle school, I wasn't the best at it. And I would have so many nerves up until I actually started talking. Once I started talking, it all went away. But like when I was just waiting in anticipation, I guess my mind is my worst enemy. Because my legs would shake, like visibly shake, and my palms would get sweaty, and I'd be like knees super nervous. Knees meek, mom's spaghetti, and that was kind of like, I don't know about you, Ibrahim, but like that was the same vibe. When we pressed record, that's exactly what happened.
Middle school, I was an Avid, and for those of you who don't know Avid's pretty much like it's a program to help you get ready for college, it gets ready for public speaking, interviews, and all that stuff, and so it's pretty good. But every once in a while in Avid, we would have to do little like speeches or presentations and stuff like that. And I was known to be that one guy to always walk up and BS his way about speaking. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty good at it. I had people tell me, "Damn, you look good when you." There was one kid who was like, "Yeah, I know you're gonna BS whenever you walk onto like the stage, confident. I'm like, that's such a weird thing to tell me, but okay, cool.
That is a weird way of putting it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, you walked onto the stage confident, so I know you're gonna BS it, and he's not wrong. Whenever no one's gonna tell me I'm wrong whenever I'm BSing things.
You can smell it on you.
Yeah, so
like
I was
a shack in the wild.
So I would always just walk and BS things, and then when I started academy, it was freshman year. It was kind of the same idea, but for some reason it kind of like hit differently. Because after the first semester, I realized there's gonna be a lot more presentations and a lot more things I'd have to do, so I'd actually have to prepare for it. And I honestly hate preparing for speeches. I feel like I could probably wing it better than going off a script or
100%, dude. I feel like if you prepare for a speech and then you deviate,
you freak out and
it's
then
like
you start talking.
The whole train crashes.
No,
but if you're improvising the entire time, at least like you're like moving one leg at a time.
And so I always tell my teams whenever I'm with like working with a team, whatever, like give me a few bullet points. Sure, I'll go off bullet points, but I will not speak.
I love bullet points.
I will not speak on a script. And so right now, when like Assad was telling me, I was telling Assad actually, I was one who the other day I was like, yo, let's put a few things down just so we can know what we're talking about, just so we don't completely vent and go on tangents. And as soon as we hit record, I was like, all right, we can do this. This ain't too bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like it just seems daunting, especially like the industry is very saturated. There's a lot of people trying to do this. We're not the first. We probably won't be the last.
Yeah, nope.
And that idea itself, like you are nothing. Like
you are one in the what was it? You're one of the.
You're a drop in the pond.
Yeah, you're like one of those. Like you're one of the people.
You're one of many.
You're one of the like followers.
That was a lot to get over because when I was sleeping, okay. So this is something I like to tell a lot of the other cringy kids our age who like start vlogging and stuff. I like to tell them like, cringy. Why would someone who doesn't know you give a crap about your life enough to watch you?
Yeah, why would they watch you or listen to you or anything?
And that kind of I was getting over that myself because I guess I was negatively criticizing other people and I wasn't even thinking about it my way. Who gives a crap about what I have to say about life and what my opinions are?
And you're definitely not wrong. I think nobody will truly like, how do I say this correctly? No one's gonna truly get you until they start like listening to you, and then eventually they'll like start building a persona. Right. If they never see our faces, they'll make their own face. Like it's weird to think about. You're one of the people. There's like a gazillion Spotify. On Spotify, there's a gazillion podcasts they can listen to. They don't know anyone. They don't know who they are. They just open a podcast, listen to it because they talk about history or something. I don't know, whatever. And so you're just one of those people. But unless you somehow get famous and they figure out who you are and they meet you or something, there's no real connection to someone who's talking on a podcast. So that's why when we were talking about making the name and why Untitled whatever project wasn't a good idea, was because you want to be special. And if you're special in some sort of way, a catchy name or a catchy little jingle or whatever the case is, then someone will be like, oh, okay, I like the way they sound. I like the title of them. Maybe I'll look into it. Like that. The idea, if you read the back of a book first and figure out what the summary is, then you don't have to read the whole book and then realize it was a waste of time. And so it's kind of like that. But I think for people to actually decide to listen to you, I think that's going to be the biggest problem for a lot of younglings, video podcasts and vlogs, whatever the case is.
See, another thing that I was trying to like wrap my brain around, because like, so my brother, right, he started Twitch streaming, right? And the first thing that got in my head, because it's the same thing that I thought about when it came to YouTube, was, how do people find small channels? I don't. I only watch or follow really large ones.
Yeah. And
I was wondering, like, what Samaritans out there go to the bottom of the channel list with the lowest amounts of subs and go, let me give them a chance.
Let me give them a chance, yeah.
And I don't understand it because I haven't done that personally, right? How can other people? But people grow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously sometimes it's just, shaking your butt on camera, but
obviously, TikTok.
People grow, and I'm still trying to learn how to facilitate that growth.
Oh God.
And
not that
that's just something, I guess it's all confidence. It's all confidence that I'm just trying to get over. By the way, me and Ibrahim are extremely pessimistic people.
Yeah.
Ibrahim likes to think positively when I am thinking negatively, and I like to think positively when he thinks negatively.
We're opposites at sometimes.
Yeah.
But other times we're on like the same wavelength that it's just kind of weird. Like it's I don't know how to explain it. It's weird.
It's like we're yin yang, but like
we're both yin and both yang.
We're both yin and yang at the same time. So it's like two yin yangs. It's like, if any of y'all know physics, it's like string theory. It's we're in two different states. It's quantum theory. We're in two different states at once. By the way, I love science. That's something y'all will figure out.
For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of very lost in whatever he's talking about right now.
Yeah.
I'm not that big brain.
I guess this is as good as opportunity as I just like get into like how we are, like what we're like. So I love art. I love science of all types. I play guitar. I love working on my computer and drawing, and I'm involved in like a lot of communities and YouTube. So I'm always inspired and things like that.
Except you're not on TikTok.
Except I'm not on TikTok, and that is the one thing I cross my fingers and say hallelujah, because like that's I dodged a bullet there. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, sure. I'm not as...
You're a mixed bag of nuts, bro.
Yeah, I don't fully know what like I'm really into. Like I'll play video games. I'll draw. I'll do things like this. Yo, COD Mobile. They had a new update yesterday. It was a very weird update,
I saw
dude. It is a weird update. Anyway, now tangent.
In there and stuff.
I can do a bunch of random things, but do I have one thing I fully connect with like Assad? Not exactly. I sleep. Even that is weird for me.
And that is commendable.
I eat. If you tell me to let's go out for dinner, I'll never say no, especially if you're paying. Bro, I will eat, bro. Mm-hmm. I'm probably one of the biggest eaters in our friend group, and I will stand by that, even though I'm not the fattest.
There was one day where we were out for lunch from school, and we had to rush back. We had like 5 minutes left, and we were inside the restaurant. They were still ordering sandwiches, and he and another one of our friends.
Okay, no, hold on, time out. We gotta tell that story fully. Hold on.
It's amazing, bro.
So me and my friend, our lunch is an hour long, from 12:30 to 1:30, right? Me and my friend, I don't know the reason why, we decided to leave to go to lunch at like 12:25, and we have to be back in our class at 12:30. So we're like, screw it. No, not even 12:25. We left at 12:20, and so
we were on the nose.
Yeah, no, we got into the car, drove to a Potbelly, got a sandwich, inhaled the sandwich, got back to school
like an actual vacuum, bro.
Got back to school. And it's a full-on sandwich. We got back to school by 12:24. In 4 minutes, we drove to a restaurant, ordered, ate, came back, and we're in class by 12:24.
And y'all gotta understand, right? Travel time, right? Every time we go, we come back. We usually average from 12:24, 12:25 to 12:26.
Yeah, we usually come back.
We got a little earlier. They ate faster than normal.
Yeah, like we'll leave. We'll go get food, sandwiches, whatever the case is, at 12:30, and be back roughly 1:20 or whatever the case is. When we got back to school 4 minutes before we were supposed to be in class.
And when we were in 10th grade, one of our friends, same Potbellies, he got a foot long, and he was like, "Man, I'm still hungry." And he got another foot long, and then he was like, "Man, I'm still hungry." And he was like, "Oh, you need to eat that." He also ate ours.
Yeah, like that one time I went and bought 8 McChickens.
Oh my gosh!
Let me just tell you, that was really a good day. It was $2 off of $10.
By the way, a nice way that Ibrahim likes to think of the economy is via McChickens.
Okay, let me tell you something. All my friends think I'm weird. But
it's a beautiful trait.
It's a beautiful trait. I'll tell you something about this after I explain myself. McChickens are a great thing to think about.
It's a good unit of measurement.
It's a good unit of measurement. Not only is it food, one McChicken, you know how many calories it is. I don't really care about that part. But one McChicken is $1.08. It's on a dollar menu, but with tax, $1.08, right? Well, a McChicken is very easy math. Okay, you ask me how many McChickens can you buy with $25? I'll tell you 23 McChickens. Okay, because, tax and stuff. And it's just easy. Like, the other day, I was asked how many millions of dollars... LeBron makes, I think, $36 million per game. Or per game. What? No, per year. Okay, he makes $36.8 million a year. And a friend asked me, how many McChickens is that? And I did the math in my head, and turns out it's like 34 million. Give a few thousands. But it's just easy.
Equating things to McChickens is like...
It's a lot easier.
It's like a beautiful metaphor for life, almost.
Exactly. And on that same page, I had an internship. And the very first meeting I had with my bosses, they were like talking to me about food and stuff like that. And somehow we started talking about McChickens and how I could do math on McChickens. I told them literally one day, if you just want to pay me McChickens, I can be completely fine with that. They laughed and they thought it was a joke, but I was like, oh no, I'm serious. Like, I can pay me McChickens. Screw this money thing. The last day, they gave me a gift card to a McDonald's gift card. I went and bought McChickens with that gift card, and in their card it says, "Thank you for being a great person, blah blah blah." go buy as many McChickens as you can possibly fit with this card. And honestly,
Those are some pretty dope bosses, dude.
those bosses were amazing. Like, they were so nice. I was just happy with it. And I went and I bought a bunch of McChickens. I think it was like $20 gift card. I went and bought so many McChickens. It was great.
Yeah, so they just inhaled those sandwiches, man. It was insane. And we got back.
And then, we went to class. And me and my boy Thomas, the one who went with me, just kind of like, it was probably one of the best, like, funniest lunch moments that we've had. And it was just like, yeah, we went and we came back within 4 minutes, ate a sandwich.
Yes, I forgot who we are.
Oh yeah, no, we were talking about that.
We were talking about who we are. You remember that essay you were writing for school? Like, how did you put it? Like, your personality and your interests?
Oh, I don't have any.
Yeah, he was like I'm like a lost soul.
I'm a.
It was a really, really nice metaphor.
Metaphor from Bruce Lee in one of his movies. He goes, "Be like water. If you pour water into a cup, you become the cup. If you pour water into a teapot, you become the teapot." It's pretty much like form yourself as what you need to be in that moment. And that's why I told my professor when I was writing that 2-page paper, I do not know who I am because I do not want to limit myself. Because as soon as I figure out who I am, then I'll be limited to that person. And honestly, he gave me an A because I'm such a smart boy.
I thought that was a pretty bomb way of explaining it.
Yeah, because the essay was like, write about who you are and explain to me who you are. You can be like, oh, I'm a gamer, I'm a big boy, my life is food. I told him I have no clue who I am, and I wrote a whole 2-page paper about it, and he respected that.
So part of like the channel creation was a lot of our friends, we all got together and we just kind of like, we were talking about cars, I think, because a lot of our friends are gearheads. And they were just like talking about chopping up one of their dad's cars or like one of their old cars. And then all of a sudden, like me and Ibrahim had been planning this podcast for months. And then those guys independently were like, yo, what if we create a YouTube channel? And that's where the whole BS media thing came from.
Because, BS is bull, And then Brown Squad is also BS. And then Bomb Squad is also BS. And then...
It sounded like a good idea in the moment.
There was another word we came up with, another one. But,
and it was like, we were all talking about it. Me and Ibrahim were having our thing on the side. They were going really ham about that. And we all, like, had... it was weird. It was like a creativity surge. All of us were like, yo, let's start this channel. Let's do this content. Let's connect it here. There's like a MCU of YouTube channels for friends.
MCU.
And part of that was my friend Thomas's YouTube channel. Part of that is one that I hope to start in the future. And I'm glad that we started on the podcast because that's the first step.
I'm not starting a YouTube channel because I don't have anything to show.
Yeah, but someday you might, bro.
Bro. I was actually considering starting a, you know how Thomas and Tristan have a whole Instagram just for like pictures they take and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was.
You could have a Ibrahim is really good at taking pictures for other people.
Yeah, like I take pictures of people. I take random pictures of nature and stuff like that, and I'm good at it. I take it on my iPhone because I don't have $800 to spend on a camera. But even though iPhone's probably more expensive than a camera. Anyway, I'm not paying for my iPhone.
A little bit. It's a package deal.
It's a package deal. Anyway, I take pictures on my iPhone because I'm one of those people, but I take pretty good pictures, I think, and I usually take pictures for my friends who are girls who are very, very picky, and my sisters. And honestly, I edit a few of them. I might start charging people on my pictures.
You could go on Fiverr, dude.
What's it called? I put one of those pictures on, what is it called, Shutterstock or whatever, like the weird thingies. I'm just waiting for money to start rolling in, bro.
Ooh, that's good.
I have to resize all my pictures now because they're like, oh, it has to be this size, and I'm like, why? Just take
Ibrahim shot a lot of the photos that I used for my LinkedIn.
You use them,
and a lot of my other stuff, huh?
You used it for your LinkedIn?
Yeah, dude. It was such a good photo. I mean, obviously, okay, this is the one disappointing thing about being a teenager and trying to be professional. Those photos that he took were stellar. Like, the lighting was great, exposure, whatever, all that. But my face had so much gosh darn acne. I was so embarrassed of using those photos, but it was the best. They were the best ones I had. Like, they were the most professionally taken photos I'd owned at the point.
See, I could have played with like your acne and stuff like that, but I said you are beautiful the way you are, honey.
Dog. Not even my mom says that.
Well, the boys are better than your mom.
When the boys compliment your looks more than your girl.
By the way, Assad has a girlfriend. Sooner or later, we'll bring her on here.
I have a girlfriend eventually.
And I have a teddy bear at home.
Yes. And we came up with this beautiful metaphor that I don't think anybody in our friend group has understood at this point.
Yeah, they just judge us for it.
But I just randomly one day I was like, Ibrahim, when people eat Pringles and they do the duck thing, right? They put 2 Pringles in their mouths to make it look like the duck bills, right? I have my Pringle. Where's makes yours? My duck. Where is your Pringle?
And pretty much, the mouth is the world. Your 2 Pringles are you and your significant other. Well, that's at least how I understood it. I don't know what he was giving.
They're joint at a point.
They're joint at a point, and it's just happily ever after,
And I was, everybody is searching for their Pringle. That was the end result of that conversation. Everybody is searching for their Pringle, and it's only a matter of time before Ibrahim finds his Pringle.
Yeah.
In fact, we could meet her via this podcast. Who knows?
Yeah, because someone will be listening to our podcast and be like, "Oh, I like Pringles too. Let me hit you up."
Someone's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's imaginary beard. I'm just vibing."
The whole time we were talking right now, I'm kind of just playing with my beard. I'm like,
he can do this really cool thing where he like turns it into like a curly mustache.
Oh yeah, those mustaches like people have in like the old like Western movies. Yeah, no, I can make one of those on my beard. Our teachers kind of look fun. Like they judge us.
Another thing that me and Ibrahim have done in the past. I don't know about you, Ibrahim, but like, when we were in sophomore year of high school, we started like a small like indie film studio with our friends. I don't know if we want to talk about the name right now.
No, not now.
Because it's a little bit too personal, a little bit too revealing. Maybe someday, but that
after we get over the tea or the gossip,
we will call that Chanel.
Right now,
yeah,
we'll call it Chanel.
We'll call our studio Chanel. So our Chanel studio, we made short films, and through the process of trying to actually make good short films, which by the way they were not, like they have a special place in my heart, but I would not be winning an Oscar for it.
It's those like short films you make with your friends just because you're bored.
They were so much fun to make though.
They were a lot of fun, and it was freezing cold for half of them.
We got a lot of we'll talk about that someday. We got a lot of experience using photos and cameras and audio equipment, lighting equipment. Me and Ibrahim were grip a lot of the time, and it kind of inspired me at least to like really get into the film like industry, cinematography and pre-production, post-production, things like that.
Oh, I didn't.
So if you hear me talking about cameras and things like that and film, I really, really enjoy talking about that as well. I don't have too many people to talk about it with, but
yeah, I'm not one of those guys. If he'll start on a weird like ramble on cameras and the new camera that just came out, I'll be in your shoes. I have no clue what he's talking about.
But it's like invaded my life so much so that like when I watch movies like with my girlfriend, we'll be watching and a shot and I'll be like, the composition was very nice. Oh, look how they did that whip pan. And she'll be like, dude, let me watch the movie.
Shut up.
Like I don't need to know this.
Usually it's the girl asking questions. Like the girlfriend be like, oh my god, why did he shoot him? Oh my god, why is that happening? Like now it's you.
Yeah, but instead of plot, it's not plot.
Yeah, no, it's not the plot. It's just
everything else.
Camera angles.
But she also appreciates it now. So like it's part of what
she's into it, kind of.
Yeah. So like it's good. It's not me ruining movies, but I have been told that I do. Actually, no. When I watch movies with like other people, I tend to be quiet.
When we watched all the Marvel movies,
oh my gosh,
the last like few,
some of the most fun things we've done as friends was watch all the Avengers movies.
Yeah, we went to the actual movie theater when we watched like the last 2 Marvel movies. Let me tell you, anyone in front of us or behind us probably got mad at us.
Luckily, I don't think there was anyone in front of us because we remember the bars. We were pretty on the bars, but definitely behind us.
And behind us and next to us, because we didn't take the whole row. We had just a few seats of the row.
See, y'all need to understand. We skipped prom, which now in retrospect, after coronavirus, it's a little But we skipped the prom, which admittedly it wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best prom.
In our opinion, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, no.
But we skipped prom to watch Avengers Endgame with one another because we were just so interested and we really wanted to do it. And we had that tradition going for so long.
We skipped prom and then we came back to school the next week and everyone's like, oh, did you go to prom? No. Where'd you go? We watched some Marvel movies. Oh, like you and your girlfriend or something? It's like a prom date? No, me and the boys.
No, it's just the boys.
It's just me and the boys.
We just cracked a cold one in the season.
One of them brought their girlfriend. The other one brought his girlfriend. Yeah, no, it's just one of the boys.
And it was really funny because when we got back, we were obviously confident about the fact that we didn't want to go to the prom. Everybody said the prom was pretty lackluster.
Yeah. And it was because we didn't.
It's because we weren't there. Honestly, it's because the life of the party wasn't there. We are the life of the party, but
we are those popular kids.
We or at least me personally, right? My girlfriend, I had an elaborate plan set up to propose to her. Like it's not like grand, like public, but it was really sentimental and sweet. And she listen to this, so I will not talk about it, but y'all trust it was cute. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. This is junior year, by the way. The reason I didn't go to prom personally, like I was so stressed. I just didn't want to go to prom. There was too much work. I didn't want to worry about prom posing and all this stuff. It was just a lot. So
And that's why you stay single, kids.
so when Pringles are required.
No.
So then when the prom of the next year rolled around, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much time.
We got nothing.
We got nothing to
make this
do.
good.
I'm so ready for this. I was like so ready for graduating. College apps were done. SAT was over. All the stress in my life was winding down to a freaking screeching halt. And then Rona happened.
Yeah, it was funny because we had like this whole thing going. We're like, okay, we got some projects we gotta do for school. We got finding colleges, and then prom. We had a whole thing going. We were planning prom. I was student president.
Me and
I had
Ibrahim were planning prom the entire year with our friends.
We planned prom. Like, we were that committee.
Ibrahim was literally like the head of the guy trying to get everything going to make a good prom, actually spend money on it.
And like, it was good. Like, I was like
forcing Stuco to actually do something.
Yeah, forcing student council to do things. It's kind of hard in our school, but we somehow managed to make that work. And we were so happy, and we're making it all work. And then coronavirus. No more school. We were like, oh, just, spring break. And then spring break ended up being 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 months. And now we're kind of in Corona. Now we're kind of not.
It got so bad that our senior T-shirts from our school, they literally say the ultimate senior ditch day, champion senior ditch day, because our senior ditch day never ended.
Yeah, we literally it was just bad.
Oh, we had a friend, an acquaintance, if you will, who against the wishes of the public of the fourth year, right, of high school, just tried to summon ditch day randomly on her Snapchat story, and all of us were like, no, we're coming to school.
Hey, Monday, don't come to school. No.
Yeah, no, all of us were like, no, we're coming to school.
Somehow, like, the teachers figured out.
Yes, and even the teachers were like,
hey, so are you skipping on Monday?
It's pretty lame, and we were like,
yeah. I had a teacher walk up to me. She's like, hey, are you gonna skip on Monday? I'm like, we're skipping on Monday? She goes, yeah, no, that's the plan is blah 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 made the plan.
Because
I'm like, wait, what?
The grade had we kind of collectively decided ditch day would be really close to the end of the year, right before prom or the week of prom, and it would not be that day. And she went rogue, dude. She went rogue, and she tried to throw a coup for senior ditch day. And I mean.
Yeah, didn't she she planned the first one and didn't go through. Then she tried to plan another one 2 weeks later.
But she played it off like she was rescheduling.
Yeah, like, hey, we'll just do this next week.
No, just next week. Don't worry about it, guys. Week. Poor souls, no one did.
No one did it, yeah, no.
And
they're like, yeah, let's ditch and go to Six Flags or Austin. Yeah, no one did.
I think she ended up not coming to school, but it was probably for other reasons. But it was just so funny because
she didn't come to school because she planned the thing out. But then when she figured out no one really skipped, and she was like, oh no, I just had a dentist appointment.
Oh yeah, dentist appointment. Right.
Yeah, that's
and that was just so funny.
That was just a weird move.
What else?
But yeah, that's we can talk all day.
We really can't talk all day. We were actually afraid that this was going to be a little bit difficult, but it seems that we're roughly at 45 minutes, 50 minutes right now.
And the idea isn't to talk your ear off fully. We'll do that throughout many episodes. But it's kind of just a 45-minute to an hour talk, just in case you want to just chillax for a little bit, or listen to someone, or you have a drive-by, or traveling or something. Not a drive-by. That's not good. If you have a drive to do.
We have an English insurance card. Trust me.
Yeah.
Nothing we say is fact or fiction. Okay.
Okay. We just
it
talk.
exists in a void of nothing.
Our fact and fiction's all in our head.
Yes.
I was gonna say make a little really political joke, but it's
I'm glad that you decided to stick around this long. I hope that you found something interesting. I hope that you enjoy, and I hope you come around for the next one.
If you are still listening, you are a real person.
Yeah, let's.
We respect you.
Thank you.
We are holding hands right now.
We
are really thanking you.
We are really.
Wow, your arms are really
warm.
Why are you so warm?
I guess I've just been rubbing them together.
Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, once again, thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
You don't understand how much we appreciate it. We're trying to get this up and running. Once again, it's gonna be roughly once a week. Then again, we're in college and stuff like that. So if we randomly don't post one day, please don't get mad. Please don't leave us.
Any suggestions you got, please leave them in whatever way you can comment. I don't really know where we're putting this up.
We'll set that up.
We're still figuring it out. But
we did want to get the first episode out just so you guys can know that we're coming and we're doing all this. So we'll 100%. Set up this whole shebang with emails, comments, whatever you guys want to do, and then we also have some
other projects in the works.
Work coming.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and this was Two Bros and a Beard.
Two Bros and a Beard. Bye.
I'll catch you later. Oh, that wasn't off.